Well, hey guys, how's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Girls too, of course. We're going to put a Fender jack assembly in this today. It's got the thimble style that, kind of goes in flush to the body there. And to do that, you have to put this little half moon shaped piece here that I have in my hand, if I can hold on to it. And what that does is that gets flattened out inside the body here at a certain distance. I'll show you all that, and I'll show you the tool that I made to do it. All right, let's get right to it. Okay, so in the kit, you get the thimble, you get this little square washer here, and of course a tooth washer and a nut. All right, so what you got to do is this. You got to get a piece of 3/8 all thread. That's what I'm using here, at least. This is about 5 inches long, roughly. Now, what's going to happen? You got to have a 5/8 socket. You're going to have to sacrifice this for the tool. I guess you could still use it, but in any case, you got to wrap some tape around it. I'll give you that distance right now. All right, that's 3/8 of an inch. So what you do is you start the tape. You may have to shrink your tape or run it out by and then cut it off as you do it. You start it on this side flush or whatever. Or start it at 3/8 of an inch, like I said, and let some hang out by, cut it off, or whatever you got to do. And unless you have tape that's 3/8 of an inch, that would be the preferred method, right? Well, anyway, once you get that done, you just want to build that up like, 1/8 of an inch around there. Now, what that's going to allow you to do, you're going to use that as a spacer, so that will go up flush against the body, and that's going to set this little half moon thing in there inside 3/8 of an inch, and then we're going to flatten it out so it pinches itself into the wood in the body once it's flat. Then your jack will go through it. The thimble will go in the body, set in 3/8 of an inch. You put your nut and washer on, and you're ready to go. Okay, so this is how it works right here. I can't remember. I think I may have needed to cut mine down a little bit shorter. We'll find out anyways. So I'll at least disclose that if that's the case. All right, so what we have here is a nut and a washer. Put your socket on, right? This is 3/8 drive, by the way. That's important as well because it kind of keeps it a little snug on there. It's not tight, but then you put a washer on right there. So you got a nut, washer, socket, washer, right? Okay, and then you put your little half moon washer in there. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. You put another washer in, right? Then you have to put 2 nuts on the end. And these are going to jam together. All right, so once you get them on there, you're just going to kind of lock them together. Okay, I'll tighten them up a little bit with a wrench, just snug them up, and we'll get it in there. All right, I changed my mind. I'm going to install this half moon washer in this direction, so that's going to go in the guitar that way. I figure it will be better. It won't tend to hang up on the inside of the hole, just as we, insert the tool in there. All right, so I've got everything pushed in there. The 2 nuts on the back are locked together. And what you want to do is make sure that you hold that in tight. That's what the tape's for. That's what that little ledge is for around the socket. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook a pair of vice grips on the end of the threaded rod. I'll put it out on the end. And I should put a T-handle on there. That would make life a little easier. But what we're going to do now is just kind of hold this in tight. Make sure that's pushed straight in tight to the body, okay? Now, all you got to do now is just simply tighten this up and just keep going until it stops turning. What it's doing right now is flattening that half moon washer out inside the body, and the socket is setting the depth for you. So that's, I use the vice grips just because I can wedge it against the bench too. Kind of holds it for me. And there you go. It's getting tight here now. I got to tighten my vice grips up just a little bit. You'll hear the wood kind of crackling and everything. And you just go till it bottoms out. That's all you got to do. You can't over tighten it. It's not going to gain you anything. Get rid of your vice grips. Okay, now we want to run this threaded rod in this way. So just hold the nut. Keep turning it. Pretty soon you're going to see the two jam nuts show up in the control cavity here. Then all you got to do is just loosen those up, pull the bolt out, make sure all the washers come out with it, and you're good to go. All right, there's one. And there's the other one. Cool. Now, like I said, make sure all the washers come out. So there is still a washer stuck on the back side here, I can tell. There should be one in front of the socket. The little half moon thing was in between that washer and the other washer. We had the two nuts here, so there's a washer inside the body. Don't forget, it happens. Okay, so it's not exactly centered on there, but that should be touching, the bottom of that thimble should be touching that plate. And the plate should be square now and in the hole. Looks pretty good, and it touches the plate, so we're good to go. Now all you have to do is put your jack through that plate and let the jack stick out, put your cup in, and the jack will come through the cup. Put your nut and washer on, good to go. Okay, a couple more things I just wanted to add. You want to make sure that you use washers that are the same diameter as this socket. Okay, and you don't want them any bigger. And you could go just a little bit smaller as long as they don't fall inside the hole or something. What I'm getting at is this. If you use a bigger washer and you put this in there, the washer could get wedged in the hole and you might not be able to get it out of there. And you may have to take that plate back out. Just a word for the warning. Sounds like I've been there before, right? That's because I have. Anyway, I just remembered that and I wanted to add that too. So now it's basically down to that. Just putting the jack in, nut and washer, and the cup, wherever that is. Try to keep my parts together. And, like I said, it's good to have at least, I'm going to say at least 4.5 to 5 inches of all thread. That seems to be about right. And that leaves enough sticking out so you can, either put a handle on it or a set of vice grips. Now, I wanted to add, too, you can buy these tools pretty cheap. I think they're, maybe 15 or 20 bucks, something like that. They're not crazy expensive, and you can make them, too. Like I said, I just happened to throw this one together one day. I had the jack plate, and I really didn't know how to install it, so I watched a video, and I was like, wow, I guess I'll see if I have enough stuff to make one. And it got me out of a bind, and I've been using it ever since. I'm actually going to take the parts out of here and just leave them in the cavity and put my little jig right back in there. All right, folks, well, I hope that helped you out, and it's not, it's not that tough. And that works really good. That's how they did it in the factory, I'm pretty sure, back when they first started doing that. And, that's solid. Like I said, when that spreads that thing apart, it just drives it right into the sides of the wood there. And you got 4 points of it. So, it's not going to fall out of there. It's in there solid. If you're nervous about it, you could even touch the 4 corners with some super glue or something, but I've never had an issue with it. Well, thanks again. We'll see you guys real soon. Be good. Okie doke.